Hi, welcome to the Parent Talk. My name's Alexandria. I run inspofamily.com, and we have a bunch of different parts of the website that are good for building connections with your your kids and family and things like that. I decided to start this podcast to give people a better perspective of what it's like being a single parent. I know my situation's a little bit different than most people's, but I think it's a little bit harder being a single parent. And that doesn't mean like the families are broken. I know there's some people with situations where their husbands or wives just can't be in the home for work or whatever reason. But parenting by yourself, I guess, in general, is pretty tough. So I figured having a podcast to kind of talk about it and relate might help some of the parents get through the day a little bit better. So for today's topic, I decided to talk about letting kids explore. And I really struggle with this, because I want my kids to do exactly what I say when I say it. I don't know, that's how I was raised. But it doesn't work like that, like in real life. Like, you have to let kids explore on their own. For example, letting them pour their own milk. Even though you have that fear in the back of your head telling you it's going to spill everywhere and I have this mess that I'm going to have to clean up, and let me just pour your milk. It kind of, not degrades, but excuse me, it discourages your kid to try new things. And it kind of goes back to that example, or that saying, lead by example. That's very true with kids, because I've noticed my kids, they each have a bit of my personality and a bit of who I am within themselves, and I see it. And sometimes I see the not so good parts of myself in them. And I have to remind myself it's okay for them to try something and mess up, like spilling the milk. So I think it's really important to let kids explore and try things in a safe manner, of course. But I think it's really important for their growth. And it also builds trust and connections, because it shows that you can be there to support them as a parent, for whatever they may need, something big or small. So you're building that connection the same time that you are letting them explore. And I think it's also important because it teaches kids positive self-talk, and it teaches them that they can do things on their own. It gives them confidence, and it builds their strength within themselves. Because I think that's what's really important. I think a lot of people don't have that self-confidence instilled into them. And I know this is a different time or era, and things are different, and there's all these parenting things you should do and whatnot. But, I've taken parenting classes, and I've done parenting exercises, and met with parenting coaches, behavioral coaches, and counselors, and I take what they say with a grain of salt, but I think the most important thing is to actually really learn about who your child is. And once you learn that, then it's easier to connect with them. It's easier to figure out what works for them. Every kid's different. I have 3 kids, and each one of them is completely different from the next. And I know sometimes, like, I struggle with letting them explore. I struggle a lot because my youngest has a sensory disorder, and I'm not patient enough, to be honest. I'm not patient enough with him, and I feel myself getting anxious and fluttered, especially when he wants to do it himself. But so I've always done things for him, and his sister and brother have too, because, like, no one just has the patience. And I've noticed now, since I've stopped doing it, he doesn't even have patience for himself. He expects everyone to do things for him, and I've been trying to step back. I'll sit with him. I mean, geez, sometimes it takes us an hour or so. And, and I have to tell myself, he needs this time, He needs this extra time to figure it out. And some kids do. And yeah, it's not realistic to do it all the time. But sometimes, if you can do it, if you can let your kids explore at least 30% of their day, 30%. I would say that's 50% is kind of unrealistic as a parent, especially like a single parent, but 30% is a realistic goal. You can do that 30% of the time. You got a good head start. You got a good head start on building their confidence. You got a good head start on building that connection. And I know it'll help in their future, because they'll have this positive self-confidence that they have built, that you've helped them build, and it'll just get them through life a lot easier, because that's realistically what we want as parents, is to have our kids get through life. So let me hear your thoughts. You can always go on to inspofamily.com, message me there. I'm always looking for testimonies as well for parents who struggle. I think it's really important to share your struggles, especially with other parents, because then it helps us feel not so alone.